All right, who is this who is popping into the podcast, knocking on the podcast door? It must be some of my friends and neighbors. Let's see who it is. Oh, look who it is. It's my buddies Jerry and Allie from Granite Peak. Guys, thanks for stopping by. How are you?
Hey Fern, good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's good to see you guys. If you guys don't know, Jerry and Allie came on episode 235. They are from Granite Peak. And maybe you guys introduce yourself real quick, remind people who you are, and then we'll kind of get into why you guys stopped by.
Absolutely. Well, I'll start first. My name's Allie Howard. I'm a bookkeeper here at Granite Peak Lodging and Ledgers. So I work on the bookkeeping side of things, and I'll hand it over to Jerry and he can introduce himself.
Yeah, my name is Jerry Joshua. I am a CPA here at Granite Peak. I work on the tax side of things on the Lodging Ledgers team. Yeah, alongside with Ali, we're both leaders here at the Lodging Ledgers division. So, yeah, nice to meet everyone, and yeah, happy to be here, Fern.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys stopping by. And you guys are here to talk about something that is something that our pet resort owners need to think about and give us a little quick tip and advice here while you're stopping in. So what do you have to share with us today?
Absolutely. So, coming off the heels of tax season, we thought it would be really important to talk about why it's important to have your personal and business taxes prepared by a pet care specific CPA and also having that CPA review your monthly financial statements.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think it's so important, and I see this common theme in just about everything, that how important is someone, no matter what aspect of your business you're thinking about, to get someone who understands the pet resort space. Because there's a lot of nuances and details that someone who is a generalist is not really going to be able to recognize. And I see this all the time, everything from construction, even marketing. So like my our services here at Overdog, you know, it's very different than someone who's in a big marketing agency that just decides I want to, maybe I guess I could take a client in the pet space. Why not? So it's really important. So like, why don't you guys tell us from a financial standpoint, why this is important and what people should be watching out for?
Absolutely. So I'll start with the bookkeeping side of things and why I think it's important as a bookkeeper to have a CPA handle all of these things. First of all, when you engage with a pet care specific CPA or bookkeeper, you're getting more value to your pet resort than just data entry, a few KPIs, and some tax preparation, right? So when you get monthly financial statements that are reviewed by your tax CPA, it helps identify any potential tax liabilities that you may have coming up. It also ensures that your financials are tax ready at the end of the year, and it allows us to work together so we can do annual or biannual tax planning meetings to ensure that there's no surprises to the resort owner or the resort. Also, there's some nuances in bookkeeping that should have a CPA reviewing, right? Deposits don't always equal revenue. So if you have a CPA that's just coming in and reconciling your bank accounts, that's great. It's capturing the money that's coming in, but it's not necessarily making sure that the actual true revenue that you're receiving through your resort is being reflected correctly. Oftentimes, we find deposits coded incorrectly, like deposits from an owner to cover cash flow or loan proceeds, or maybe a refund has been booked in revenue when it should be booked elsewhere. Those kind of mistakes can increase the income that you're reporting and can have tax consequences to you if they're not being caught and reviewed like in a timely manner, right? So also money paid out isn't always an expense. A lot of times how you code things can determine if an expense is allowed by the IRS. So if you don't have a CPA looking over your profit and loss, going through your expenses, you might be missing out on a deduction because something's coded wrong, or you might be taking a deduction for something you're not allowed to. Also, when you take money out of the business, if you're taking a distribution, it's important to have a CPA monitor the money that you're taking out to make sure that you're not creating a large tax event for yourself down the line. So I'll let Jerry explain a little more about the tax side of this because my expertise really lies in the bookkeeping.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Allie. So yeah, now I get to talk about the fun stuff, which is taxes. I know no one likes paying taxes or even talking about them, but it is something that we all unfortunately have to deal with, especially pet resort owners, pet facility owners. Having your bookkeeper and CPA work together, especially year round instead of year end, is crucial for tax planning and tax preparation. On top of that, having them both knowledgeable in the space of the pet resort, pet facility industry is another factor pet facility owners constantly overlook. Many of our clients that are coming to us now, most have a separate bookkeeper or do the bookkeeping themselves, and then they just send off those financials to a random CPA after year end. Down the street, guy has no knowledge of the pet facility industry at all, pet resort industry. And then yeah, they just plug in those numbers to a tax return and then just spit out the tax return. No strategy involved, no advisory involved there. So that to me, you're running a business now as a pet resort owner. There should be some strategy and constant monitoring of the financials throughout the year instead of just shooting it off at the end of the year to a CPA. The issue here is that the CPA, the first time they're looking at the financials is after year end, where after year end, you can't really make any changes to the year for any deductions you want to take, any strategy that you want to implement. It's already too late. Once if you're giving them the financials after December 31st, you can't go back in time and take expenses that you didn't take. So, yeah, you really need to make sure that that's done during the year, like Ali mentioned, on a monthly basis is nice. Quarterlies, even quarterly would be good if that's possible. So yeah, because if you are just giving those financials by March or April when the taxes are due, then at that point, what planning can the CPA really do? Um, so yeah, this really allows advisors to have more proactive tax planning. It allows them to recommend tax savings before year end instead of after it's too late. Let's say like your profits are super high in September or during the holiday season like it is for most of these facilities. Um, you may have a chance here to spend some extra dollars to invest back into the company, back into even if you want to put it into like a different investment vehicle, that there is some leeway here to do that if you have the high profit that needs to be taken out as a deduction, basically. We want to minimize the amount that's being reported to the IRS or how much that is going to be taxable to the IRS, I should say, in a strategic way. So if there's a year where you might have a significant profit, high cash reserve at the time, might be time to maybe do that construction you were always waiting to do in the facility, or buy that piece of equipment that you always wanted to get. Um, and yeah, so this also improves forecasting. It helps estimate your taxable income and prepare for any of the upcoming tax obligations that you might have. Any tax payments that are due in March or April, it helps you better estimate how much you're going to owe with clear financials on a monthly basis. With the CPA looking at that on a monthly basis, they can point out red flags, see, do we need to increase your quarterly estimates that are due for taxes? And yeah, it just gives a better picture. And with basically the two steps of review for the bookkeeper and CPA, you get both sides, the financial side and also the tax reporting side. So those quarterly estimates are definitely important. You need to pay those in during the year, especially as an owner, because you don't have, obviously, a lot of them don't have W-2s unless you're an S corp, which, you do get a W-2 at that point, but you still do have the profit you have to pay money on. I'm sorry, pay taxes on. So that is something that needs to be paid on a quarterly basis. If you're late with those payments and you just pay everything in April or March, depending on your filing, then you're going to be paying penalties and interest on those filings. So that is something that you need to be proactive about. There's something called the safe harbor rule that is based on your prior year taxes. We make sure at Granite Peak that our clients pay in at least enough to cover that safe harbor amount, which makes it so that you don't have to pay any penalties and interest to the IRS. But it also ensures that you're not paying too much to the IRS in advance, which people like to see refunds, but technically a refund is really just money that you're getting back that the IRS was just holding for you. You overpaid them technically. That money could have went back into the business. That money could have went anywhere else besides the IRS, even like an investment account where it could have made some money. So yeah, people like to see the whole refund thing, but really you should have a small refund or a small balance due is usually good planning. That's a sign of good planning. So that's what we also like to see on a monthly basis, monitoring that so that your quarterly estimates are also appropriate, basically. Um, and also the major tax strategy conversations are easier. Something like entity structure changes, like if you're S Corp, Schedule C, your owner compensation, how much you should be paid, retirement contributions, those purchases, like I mentioned, the equipment and construction costs. Easier to just make those major purchases or make those major changes when you have clear financials and we can see what's going on more easily throughout the year. Um, and then last thing is the tax preparation at the end of the year. It just reduces all that back and forth. I'm sure a lot of pet facility owners know this, where at the end of the year, they're just having constant emails with their CPA trying to answer all these questions about what was this expense? What was this? What was this deposit this day? This large deposit? What was this large expense that went out? This gets eliminated when your bookkeeper and CPA are just constantly talking during the year. Allie and I, we talk at least every month about each client that we do bookkeeping for. If there's any questions that she has or I have from the bookkeeping side, we make sure we address it, and we make sure that things are addressed so that at year end things are easy. Things are very straightforward. It's not a whole cleanup process at the end of the year. We're more just making sure the numbers look good, and then yeah, I could prep the tax return at that point, and then yeah, and also talk strategy for our year-end meetings and stuff like that. So it's much smoother. The process is much smoother in that case, and tax prep is much easier instead of you having to talk to this random CPA that never looked at your books the entire year, and now he's trying to figure out what the heck you did for the past 12 months. Um, so yeah, that those when you're first starting out, maybe like under $100,000 of revenue, something like that. But once you get larger scale, it is very hard to keep track of all your expenses and deposits and everything that's coming in. So that needs to be done definitely on a monthly basis. So yeah, that's tax prep should be the last step, not the whole cleanup process. And yeah, definitely want to emphasize that. And yeah, like I said, the main thing I want to emphasize is the importance of having bookkeepers and CPAs who are knowledgeable about the pet facility industry and handling your finances and taxes. On top of that, having them collaborate year round ensures your financials, tax planning, tax prep, they're all fully optimized so you as the pet facility owner can maximize all the benefits that are available to you and basically everything that I mentioned right now. So yeah, that's basically the tax side, how it ties in with why we want that collaboration to take place year round instead of just shooting all financials to your CPA at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I could just see it's so I mean they're so interwoven, like the bookkeeping and the accounting,
Oh
like
yeah,
they
yeah.
they are so interrelated that to have them separate, it seems like just creating so much extra work and also so many different places where problems can arise that once they're into, and like you said, not just doing it in the last couple of months before you're getting your taxes, having this being a year-long ongoing process so that you're able to identify the best opportunities for your business, making sure you're not making any mistakes that are going to cost you. In it's just so
Yep.
important. And in the episode that I had you guys on, that we spent a lot of time going into this, I mentioned my personal story, how I totally screwed things up by not knowing what the hell was going on in my own business. And
Mhm.
I got, and one of my friends just had the exact same thing happen to him, and it's just all of this stuff, the bookkeeping, not talking to the accounting, and now you have the accountants like, well, what the hell is this? But from the bookings, they never knew what the other was doing, and it caused this giant problem, cost them thousands of dollars at tax time, and it was totally avoidable if they just had that kind of synergy.
Well,
Um,
that's it.
Yep.
One
Yep.
small misclassification of maybe $50 could really end up costing you thousands of dollars in tax preparation fees if you have to go back and rework financials and amend a tax return if something is in the wrong place that has to be fixed. So I think a lot of people don't really think about how much that can truly cost down the line, not just from a tax perspective, but what you have to pay people to then fix and refile those taxes.
Yeah, yeah. Then you're just trying to do damage control and trying to make the best of a bad situation and that could totally be avoided if we were just proactive. Like there's a lot of places, you can kind of cut corners and stuff, but your financials is not one of them. Like that's where
Yeah.
you should be even more careful and spend more attention to because
Mm.
it is so critical to your business. So, and I think it's also important to have a trusted partner who's, who you trust handing your books over to manage your finances and stuff. If you don't have trust in that partner, which is why I love you guys so much, is, you're working with a lot of, the people that are clients of mine, and it's just great to have that trust to just know, okay, I'm not gonna worry about this stuff. Ali and Jerry got my back. They're gonna make sure everything they're doing the right thing and everything. So it's just so important to be able to have that confidence where you don't have to second guess things and just concentrate on what you do and let you guys do what you do. Great. So I'm so grateful for you guys providing that service and helping people out. Then now, if people are interested and realize, holy crap, I need to do something about this, I could use your help. How can people reach out to you?
Yeah, so people can reach me via email at ahoward@granitepeakcpa.com. You can also find us online at granitepeakcpa.com.
Mm.
And I'll let Jerry give his
Yeah.
information.
Yeah. You could reach me at jjoshua, that's JJOSHVA at granitepeakcpa.com. And yeah, you can go right on our website, like Ali said, granitepeakcpa.com. We have a lodging and ledgers section there you can look into. And yeah, contact us, set up a call with us. We have the 30-minute onboarding call there, or sorry, the 30-minute introductory call. And yeah, we could tell you, everything we have to offer and, kind of reemphasize everything we just talked about here.
Yeah, and if you guys can't find that or whatever, you can always reach out to me and I'll connect you guys with Ali and Jerry. Guys, thank you for stopping by and for all you're doing for the pet industry. I really appreciate you, and I'm so happy that you're out there helping because that's one aspect that I need so much help with, and I know so many other owners are struggling because of that, and they don't have to. So thank you guys.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Fern. We appreciate the time.